One thing you will absolutely need today, you need something like a strap. If you usually use like a scarf or something, it's gonna work when we get there. If you have something that is like this though, even if it's like a belt, that's gonna be great. If you need to use, like I've told people, like use a pair of like pantyhose or leggings or something, like a strip of fabric, Pilates bands, anything's fine, but as close as you can get to this for our purposes today is gonna be useful. I'm just sitting on a block because that's what I grabbed. And we're gonna do, we haven't done this in a while, we're gonna do a heart opening practice. Work with my teacher over the last year or so has been also working in softening the throat when softening in the heart. So I've been having all of these like moments where I'm just like really needing to dig into some of my experiences. I've been going and like trying to like call up a friend and like, I need to talk about my feelings. And they're like, okay, go ahead and talk about your feelings. And I'm like, shit, I don't know, you start. Like there's like something blocking where it's like, it can be really scary to open up here when we're feeling like there's like a frozenness that kind of gets shared in between those places. I don't know if I'm the only one who ever has that. Like, I really need to talk about this thing, but I don't even know where to start. So we're gonna be trying to soften in both of these places. And when getting into this idea, in our practice that's not in the body as well, in our hearts, I like to return to the etymology of the word courage, which the root of the word courage is heart, and it actually comes from the statement of being able to speak our heart's truth. Like that's what's really brave, right? To really be able to say, like, I know this to be true. I know it to be true for me, and I know it to be true for the way I need to move forward into the world. And it can be scary because sometimes like that gets into the whole aspect of integrity, and integrity can be hard to follow up on. Knowing that what's right for us isn't necessarily what's right for everybody else, and that we might be judged for that. You know, like, man, gosh, you could just think of like it's Pride Month, like Happy Pride Month. Like, so this is like a whole month we have dedicated to our queer brethren, of just being able to celebrate sticking with what you know is most true in your heart, and being able to celebrate each other in our differences. So we're going to work into both of these spaces throughout practice. Hopefully it should be a little enlivening for those of us who are in a rainstorm here. We're going to get started with, actually before we get into face brushing and oming, we're going to do some heart tending. So this is a pressure that you'll be applying with your hands. So take one of your hands, you're going to line it up just below your collarbone and give it an angle in your hand that's about like your collarbone, right? So it's like kind of just up at an angle a bit. So you want your index finger to be just below your collarbone, and then you're going to take your other hand and press it down, so in towards your heart, and then make a little drag of your hand downwards on your skin. So I'm like wearing a t-shirt, so it's a little bit hard to get the hand underneath onto the skin. You can do that if your shirt allows for it. Try to get as much skin to skin as possible. You can have your hand above your t-shirt as well. I just want you to keep using your top hand to press inwards and give a little bit of a drag down, so you can kind of feel like the skin and the connective tissue underneath the skin are getting a bit of work. We're using this pressure to kind of detangle some of the fascia connective tissue. Our connective tissue tends to, it absolutely builds up and stiffens when it's not being broken down. And it just keeps going. It gets thicker and thicker and stiffer, and it has a function in doing that. You know, you want to like keep the body put together. But if we don't do the work of breaking that stiffness, that thickness, that rigidity, if we don't do the work of breaking it down, it becomes almost insurmountable to loosen it up again. We just get more and more stuck. When we're that stuck, it's hard to make space for something new. Give yourself one more exhale. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So just take the other hand and line it up where the index finger is just below your collarbone, and then the other hand goes on top and presses into your ribs and gives a gentle dragging of the skin down away from your collarbone. Finding your breath, maybe giving a little wiggle to your jawbone or your jaw. Loosen that in case it got a little bit tense or you're carrying any tension with you into the practice. Keep pressing inwards and down. Take another 2 nice, deep, steady breaths. And then rest your hands down in your lap for a moment. Notice if your heart space feels a little bit more open, or maybe you just have a little more awareness there with all of the attention you've been giving to it. When you take your index finger and thumb together, you're going to brush from the center of your forehead outwards with that spot at the base of your thumb. Then going from the sides of your nose out to your temples, along your cheekbones. Going from the temples down to your chin on the jawline. And from the sides of your nose down to your chin along your lap lines. The side, underneath and behind the ears, lifting up from those 2 bony spots behind the ears. And as you lift up on your head, there's a bit of a release that you might feel in the connective tissue that wraps around like the back of your neck and even into your spine. It's like some of that stickiness just starts to drip away. And you'll bring your hands back down into your lap again. Take a few deep breaths, feeling your heart space expand and your throat softening. Trying to create the space and the power in our heart and the softness in our throat to exercise our courage, to prepare us to speak our heart's truth, as mildly or highly terrifying as it may be, depending on the circumstances. If you would have any other sound, or maybe just stick with an exhale, you're welcome to do that instead of Om. Let's start with a deep breath in through your nose. First time, exhale through your mouth. Good again, deep inhale. or 3 Om. Going to come down onto your back. So if you have a block around and you want to move that to the front of your mat space, if you need it, that's where you'll probably need it later. If you don't have a block, no worries. If you missed me earlier, you do want to have a strap of some sort at some point. So that can be anything that is vaguely strap-like. You don't need to specifically have a yoga strap. Give yourself a little rock around, settle yourself into the floor. And then you're going to drop your left foot down, take your right ankle onto your left knee. And I want you to either stay here pressing your thigh forward if it's hard to draw the legs in, or you're going to reach the right arm in between the legs and hold on to your left thigh. In both of these places, your hips are releasing downwards towards the floor. Notice if you've got any tension in your shoulders or tension in your neck. If you're feeling like your chin's jutting up, go ahead and grab something to put behind your head like a pillow. And I will apologize in advance. I still feel like I am getting used to wearing these invisible aligners on my teeth. So if I'm not doing a great job of enunciating things, I'm working on it. Thank you for bearing with. Let's take 2 more deep breaths in this place. Big exhale. Release your left, but you're going to keep your right ankle on your left knee. You're just going to tilt the whole thing over to the left so that your foot comes down. You want the sole of your foot to come down, the knee to stay up. And then go ahead and put your hands on your right hip, or maybe a hand on your hip and a hand on your belly. And you're going to let these places soften. It's almost like you're letting this hip relax down. You're letting your belly soften inwards towards your spine, and then check in with your collarbones, see if they're tightening and shortening, and instead let them open up. Big breath in. Big breath out. Unhook your right ankle, come back to the center. You're going to take your left ankle up onto your right knee and either stay here pressing the thighs down so your hips go down, or reach the left arm in between, hold your right leg. And same thing, hips dropping down, checking in with your collarbones, but they're not shortening and lifting upwards. You want to try to let the heart be soft, your throat be soft. And you might think to yourself, April, you said we were going to heart open. Why are we starting with the hips? We need to have this open foundation. Relax in the center, and it's a little easier to open outwards from there. One more breath in. Big breath out. Keep the ankle on the knee, drop your right foot down, and then tilt everything over to the right. You bring the foot down, take a hand onto your hip, maybe the other hand onto your belly, or both hands at your hip to the side, but use this gentle touch on your own body to kind of inspire you, or maybe soften you a little bit more. Inspire softness was, I think, the words I was going for there. It's like a comfort thing, huh? using the touch to soothe these areas. Big breath in. Big breath out. And unwind your leg. Come back to the center. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to tuck it underneath your left knee this time. So you're going to kind of slide it in there. You can use your left hand to grab it, roll over as much as you need to the hip in order to drop the knee down, and then take your right hand behind your head. Stay here or move your right knee as close as you can get it to your left foot. Wiggle your right arm over to the side, to the left side, that is. Feel the right knee reaching down and forward. If you can communicate with your hip bone, kind of tuck it up towards your belly button a little bit more. That'll make the feeling a little more intense if that's what you're into. One more breath. Unwind your right leg and your right arm, and you'll take the left foot and slide it underneath the knee there. Knees are down, or the knee is down. The hip can roll up a bit. Left arm behind the head, maybe wiggle it to the right. Reaching the left knee away from you. Maybe pulling the left hip point upwards towards your belly button. One more full round of breath. Unhook your leg and your arm, and you're going to roll over onto your belly. And come into Sphinx pose. So you want to set up with your elbows underneath your shoulders and start broadening your collarbones. This is feeling tense in your low back. You can bring your elbows a little bit further forward, but try to get them stacked right up underneath your shoulders. And then draw your collarbones open and then release your chin down towards your chest. Now take an inhale and then exhale, release a little bit more. And inhale, lift your head up. Go ahead and look over your left shoulder. Keep pushing your right elbow down to keep that collarbone more open. Soften into your exhale. Inhale, return to the front. And then as you look over your right shoulder, you're going to push down a little bit more on your left elbow to try to keep it open. Big breath in. Big breath out. Come back to the center. We go ahead and draw those collarbones open, lift your heart, lift your gaze a little bit more. If it feels good to you, you can push down into your hands and start to lift your elbows up, creating a little bit more back bend. Go very slow into that so you can still keep your collarbones open. Big inhale. Softly exhale, release your elbows down. I'm going to press yourself back and come to a seat. If you need to swing your legs out from underneath you, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to come up to a place where you can use your hands. If you need to swing your legs to the side and sit on your head, that's all good. You're going to take your hands, interlace your fingers, make some figure eights with your hands. And then just for fun, try to take your figure eights in the other direction, which has never gotten any easier for me. I still feel extremely awkward. I'm not sure why I bother torturing myself with this. At one point, it's going to be less weird, maybe. And then you're going to take your hands, change the interlacing of your fingers. So you're going to keep switching. Check and see if your shoulders got a little tight, and then soften them down. It's fine if you miss. It's fine if you do feel your jaw muscles and your eyebrows starting to get more tense, but see what you can do about softening those. And then let it go, shake them out. We're gonna go into downward dog just a couple of times here. You can always come down sooner than I suggest, but I wanted your hands to be warmed up to start off with. So you're gonna walk them out, Place them underneath your shoulders. Push from your shoulders down into your hands, widespread fingers. Let's go back, downward dog. So keep pushing from your shoulders into your hands. Try to relax your head. And you've got this strong heart space pushing down into your hands, right? Can you relax at your hips? Maybe bend your knees a little bit. Tailbone flies up, heels release down. Take a moment to notice how it feels in the backs of your legs. One more exhale. And then gently release your knees down. You're gonna walk your hands back so that your hips are above your heels. You've got many options. One of them is to stay here. One of them is to bring your hands up to your heart. Notice I've got my heart above my hips now. One of them is to interlace your fingers and press your palms up. I want you to soften your belly back towards your spine, pressing the palms up, releasing your hips down. One more time like that. Big breath in, big breath out. Release your arms. You're gonna walk them back out. Press into your hands right from your heart, just like you did pressing the hands up into the air. We're gonna go back to downward facing dog. You might notice things are a little bit more open in the backs of the legs after releasing the feet with broken toe pose. Maybe you don't, maybe this is still really awkward, that's fine. One more time, big breath in. Soften your throat as you exhale. And then you're gonna come forward onto your plank. Lower your knees, keep your chest open, lower all the way down onto your belly. Wiggle your legs back a little bit more, untuck your toes, and come up into cobra pose. When you get up into cobra pose, I want you to open your mouth. Now maybe you can open your chest a little bit more. And then soften down. And come up into cobra pose again. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, relax your jaw. And maybe see if you can lift up a little bit more with your inhale. Exhale, lower it down. Just try to keep your jaw, your throat soft as you come up. One more inhale. Exhale, lower down. And you're gonna come up onto your forearms. Take your fingertips, touch your elbows. So you've got your elbows about that far apart. Keep the elbows there. You're gonna take your hands. You can either press the palms down or interlace your fingers. And then you're gonna get your hips up, walk your knees in. I'm gonna come up into dolphin pose. You might decide just to stay here or to stretch your hips back instead of lifting your knees up in a dolphin. I find a shorter dolphin tends to feel a little bit better. Push from your heart down into those elbows, not a long visit. One more exhale. Lower your knees down. Come back up onto hands and knees. Okay. You're gonna take your right foot and you're gonna step it outside of your right hand. This little lizard space. Give a couple circles around to loosen up those hips a bit more. Circle in the other direction. And you're gonna take the back knee, you're gonna lift it up. Now you can always put it back down. You don't have to have that knee up, but see if you can keep the back leg up, lift that back inner thigh and push down into the front foot, and then start to peek your heart out and forward. So you're gonna lengthen the spine. See if you can keep your breath steady even when your heart's doing all of this work. One more exhale. And the back foot, we need to bring it into warrior one stance. So you do need to get the knee up now and drop the heel down. You could stay here down on your knee, but just know that you're gonna stay facing forward like that. So you've got the leg turning out slightly into that warrior one stance if your leg is up. Now, your right knee, don't let it follow you over. You wanna keep it facing directly forward in the direction of your toes. You're just gonna take your hands over. It's about a foot or so, maybe out to the corner of your mat space. And then you can reach your arms out here. What I don't want you to do is put weight into your hands. So yes, you have your hands down there to support you, but the action is in your feet. The effort is in your feet. Your upper body is just kind of extending outwards here. Big breath in. Big breath out. Walking it back. You're gonna pivot to come back down onto that left knee. So if you have it up, you're gonna drop it back down. Wiggle your right foot in a little bit closer and then reach your arms up. You should feel your hips in front of your bottom knee. Awesome. Let's take an inhale. Exhale, pull your elbows out wide. 2 more, inhale, lift. Exhale, pull them out wide. Keep lifting that heart up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, look up. Inhale, lift your heart a little bit more. And then bring your hands down. Gently bring that left or right leg back. Making space for your left foot to come forward. Make a couple of circles around in your hips. Circle around in the other direction. And find center, push down in your foot. You can leave the back knee down or lift the back leg up. Spiral the inner thigh on the right leg upwards. It's gonna help to keep your hips even. And then you're gonna start reaching your heart out and forward. A little intense in the legs here. Try to keep your breath steady. One more exhale. And we're gonna try to turn the back heel down. Notice my front knee and toe stay facing forward. I'm gonna keep the intensity in my legs and just try to extend the fingertips out roughly in line with the corner of my mat. You want to keep pulling your left hip back towards your right foot. Try to relax your head. One more exhale. Lock the hands back in. I'm going to lower the right knee down. Wiggle your left foot a little bit closer in so it's not quite as wide. And then reach your arms up, hips are in front of that back knee. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, elbows pull out wide. Inhale, lift it up again. Exhale, pull it out. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, elbows out wide. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, soften your jaw. Inhale, lift up a little bit more with your heart. Exhale, hands come down. This time you're gonna bring your right foot up and we're gonna come into a squat. So just go ahead and scooch it up here. Feet are wider than your hands. You can stay here or you can drop your hips down a little bit more. You might have to do the little, foot wigglies to find that space where you can get your feet planted firmly down. I want you to push those feet down. Release your upper butt down. Press into your hands so your heart starts to float up. One more exhale. Then you're gonna bring your hands down. If you're down with your hips, you're gonna lift the heels first, come into a little fold, wiggle your feet in, keep your knees bent, try to keep the spine soft as you roll yourself all the way up. Good. I have my notes here. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Good. Okay, we're doing great. All right. We're gonna do some side bending, so bring your feet together. You wanna use this inner leg line. We're gonna magnetize the inner thighs together. You should feel the weight going slightly forward, so you're a little bit more on your toes. And then if you can lift up the fronts of your hips, you're getting a little bit more integrity in your core and your lower abdominals. Reach your arms up, hold on to your left wrist, reach up and over towards your right side, and then release your shoulder blade from your spine. So you're not quite so tense back there, maybe a little bit further forward. Notice my chest stayed open the whole time. Just lift and squeeze those inner thighs. One more exhale. Inhale up and over to the other side. So grabbing your wrist, coming up and over. Squeeze those inner thighs, weight should be more towards the toes. Release your shoulder blade from your spine, your ears from your shoulder. Notice if your jaw is tense. One more breath in. Big breath out. And come on up. Release your arms. We're gonna do dancer's pose the comfortable normal way. We're gonna do a slightly less comfortable normal. I mean, it might be super comfortable. You might love it. I love the next variation of dancer's pose. So we're gonna do it twice. Know that this might not be your biggest one. So I'm going to take your left foot, just go ahead and wiggle around on your foot bones. They're a little bit more open again. And if you ever have a hard time grabbing your foot behind you, I want you to grab your strap. You'll use that now, but if you can come up onto your left foot, you're going to reach behind you, hold onto your inner right foot, lift your inner thighs, and then push the foot back. Maybe reach the other arm forward. Notice my hip isn't going out to the side here. I'm really trying to keep it square. If I get. Inhale. Exhale, relax your jaw muscles. Inhale, maybe you've got more to go into. And then soften gently out of it. So then should we do this twice? So you're gonna take your right leg, go ahead and wiggle it out a little bit. Wiggle those foot bones. Making them more flexible, easier for the foot bones to find exactly that precious point where you're able to balance. And then you'll reach up and catch on the inside of your left foot. Lift those inner thighs, push the foot back, reach the heart forward, maybe reach the arm forward. Keep lifting up and off of your standing foot. On your exhale, soften your jaw muscles, and then inhale, maybe there's a little bit more space, maybe not. And then gently come in, release your foot down. Give a little wiggle. Okay, before we do the really fancy business with the dancer's pose, there's a little bit more fancy business that I would like to attend to. So you're gonna grab your strap. We're gonna do some shoulder flossing. Now, when you do shoulder flossing, this should be like moving the floss around to loosen things up, not like, get in there and rip things to shreds and create a bloody massacre. So with that in mind, take your hands wider than your shoulders, hold loosely onto your strap, lift up the front of your pelvis. You've got a little bit more of that core engagement as you go. You're gonna reach the strap up. And then as you go back, you might slide your hands out wider to take the arms down. And inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, take them back down. Each time I do this, I like to give a tiny scooch inwards just in case I've got more space. And you're gonna keep the front of your hips lifted so that as you inhale, you come up, and exhale, arms go back. Notice my body didn't do all of this. Inhale up, exhale, forward. Keep lifting behind your ears. Inhale up. Exhale, taking it back. Inhale up. Exhale, drop it forward. Do it 2 more times on your own. Notice where the resistance comes in, where it happens in your body, if there's any specific thought around it. You're going to relax that. I'm actually going to turn on and face this way. When you take the strap, you're going to bring it just a little bit wider than your shoulders. We're going to use this in Warrior One. Step your right foot forward, your left foot back. Lift those inner thighs to square your hips as far forward as you can. Reach the strap up. Now I want you to pull the strap apart, reach it back. Hand reach your heart up and forward. A lot of lift here. This should actually be kind of hard to do. Kind of hard to reach that strap up. You can have bent elbows. You can always have bent elbows. Notice if your ears and your shoulders are getting to be a little too intimate. My breath in. Exhale, soften. Just going to do a little flossing back there. You're going to turn your hands so your thumbs face forward, your palms face towards each other. You're going to stretch that as far back as you can comfortably go without having to tense up your jaw muscles. And then maybe you also come forward on the inside of that thigh. Pull your right hip back so you don't get short on that side of the waist and your hips don't get wonky. See if you can relax your head. This is a lot. Especially as I'm talking, this is a lot. Exhale. Come on up. You're going to bring your strap, just go ahead and drop it around your shoulders so you don't have to go down and pick it up again. You're going to take your hands and you're going to bring them into the back of your head. Now you can stay here in warrior one as you do this, or if you want to challenge your balance a little more, you're going to come up onto your back toes. You're just going to rest your head in your hands. Fold your elbows in a little bit. Lift those inner thighs. Try to reach the elbows up and rest your head back as much as you can. Don't rest your heart back though. You're going to lift your heart up and forward. Press your head into your hands. Really reaching those elbows out and away from you. Inhale. Exhale. Head comes back up. Release your hands. Go ahead and switch your legs. Step the left foot up and the right leg back. We'll start with warrior one. So you've got that back leg down. And then you're going to take the strap a little bit wider than your shoulders. You're going to reach it up. Reach your heart up. Pull the strap apart and pull it back. Little bend in your elbows can feel really good here. It can give you a lot more space. Soften your jaw. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was a big difference. You felt that too. It's like, shit, I've been softening my jaw this whole time. Why do I keep finding more space to soften it? Because it's a constant dialogue with the body. It's like being human. Like, man, I thought I figured this thing out. And then it's going to be different and it's going to happen again. That's just how it goes. Inhale. Exhale. And then relax. You're going to floss it back there. Turn your thumbs to face forward, palms to face each other. Reach that strap back, reach the heart forward. Maybe coming up on the inside of this thigh. Keep pulling your left hip towards your right foot. Open the heart forward. One more exhale. Then come on up. Just gonna drop that strap around your shoulders. And then take your hands up. You can stay on the back heel. It's going to make it a little easier to balance. You'll have a little bit more room to create more back bend if your hips are more squared in a lunge. Just know it'll be harder to balance. You're going to lift your heart up, lift your head up, lift your elbows up. And then you're going to rest your head back in your hands first. See if you can reach your elbows away. If that's going well, you're going to keep reaching your heart up, but press your head back into your hands. And press your elbows out and forward. Holy heck. Big breath in. Big breath out. Then head comes back up. Release your arms. And then step both feet up. Okay. Here's what we're going to do with the strap. I'm going to come up close to you. This is really, really weird. It's gonna be hard, it's gonna be confusing. I do it in person with people and we spend all of our time like, where the heck does this go? So if it seems really odd, you're not quite grasping it, I want you to just take the strap, you're gonna loop it around your ankle like so, okay? That totally works, there's nothing wrong with that, you're not like weird, this is like the strange thing to get into. However, if you are able to do this like so, what I want you to do, you pick a leg, it's fine. You're gonna loop the strap around the back of your ankle. You're gonna bring the ends of the strap together, so now it is one piece. You're gonna bring that in between your toes, so you have this like flip-flop situation. See my flip-flop situation? Okay, good, now I'm gonna move back because I'm all up here and everything. Okay, so, real graceful. All right, so I've got my flip-flop situation, or I'm deciding, wow, April, that's nuts. I don't want to, I'm just gonna loop it around my ankle, it's fine. So you've got the one foot. You should come up, bring it back behind you. Good. That should get to this side. All right. Then notice I've got my elbow bent up. I need to turn the elbow down and then start to take it up like so. Yeah. So again, probably start it up here. I'm going to turn the elbow in, around, out and up. Then my other hand comes back and holds on to the strap. And then I lift my inner thighs and I start, oh my gosh. Pushing the foot back, pulling it up, expand the body. Oh my gosh, fall over every time I change my gaze. Ugh, look at one thing that's not moving. Helps a lot. Oh, and you can come in and out of this. Oh my gosh, maybe you walk your hands closer to the strap, closer to the foot on the strap. Oh, okay, don't come out as fast as I did. I fell over. Okay. Feel hot all of a sudden. You feel like things, I saw you all doing it, like coming in and out. It's kind of neat, right? Okay. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, thoughts? You're trying to get on the other side? Okay, good. You can ask me a thing too. I don't know, I was going fast. I don't know if you're typing. All right, so the weird thing, you get it behind the ankle. Da-da, da-da. One piece in between big toe and second toe, goes under the foot, like so. Great. Okay. And then the elbow comes down and comes back up. Ooh. Look at my elephant over here. Lift those inner thighs. Don't do this, right? Oh. Maybe you can walk your hands closer to the foot. Maybe it's not going to happen. We need to get expansive. We'll soften your throat. Man, I didn't even say that on the other side. My throat's all tense because I'm talking. Ooh. Exhale. Let's start to soften if you haven't already. There you go. There's the slow version of coming out where I don't just fall over. I think my heart is pumping and things are happening. Hope you found that interesting at the very least. Maybe it's a thing that you get more into at another day. I should go ahead and set this.
What is this? What is this? This is crazy.
With the pose? Yeah, so like do you have like dancer's pose where you have like just the one hand? And then like ideally you would have both hands up there like holding onto the foot like that. I don't know many people who can do that. So the strap is cool, right? It's like the connection point that doesn't have to be.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah? Yeah, okay, cool. I hope you kind
I've never done that before. That was bananas.
That's intense, right? It's like,
yeah.
Okay. There's a little balancing. I'm not balanced pose. We're gonna do balancing in the chest for a moment. Just find a nice steady standing point. Your feet are about underneath your hips. You're gonna take your hands, interlace your fingers, bring them over to the right side of your waist, and then you're gonna use your arm back here to press into your lower back and then press your belly back to your arm. What's that doing? It's keeping me from doing this. It's bringing me into this place. Now, drop your ear over towards your shoulder. Your next exhale, drop your nose over towards your shoulder with the hands over here. On your next exhale, drop your chin down to your chest. And then lift your head up. Then switch your arm over to the other side. So you're gonna press your arm into your back and your belly back to your arm. On your exhale, ear to your hands. Inhale. Exhale, nose down to your hands. Inhale. Exhale, chin down to your chest. And inhale, lift it up. We're gonna come down into a squat, so widen your feet, got your hands loosened up. You can sit all the way down, that's gonna be fine. You can go down about halfway, or you can come down here, little foot wiggling and stuff. Hi, Jessica. Good. Isn't this is a good position to pet your cat and your dog in. Give your friend a high five. But see if you can release your hips down, push into the feet. Maybe your heart starts to lift up a little bit more. Big breath in. Breathing out. And you're going to come down to a seat. Fancy business. From here, coming into pigeon. If pigeon's not working for you, you can do swan where you're down on the hip. So I'm down on the hip in swan and I'm not up in the middle. But if you can get into pigeon where you have the one knee out and your hips are more or less balanced here, you got the leg going back, that's going to be, we'll do one of those two because we did the one on our back before. You can do that again, but try for Swan if pigeon's not working, because I do want to try to open up the front of this hip still. So go ahead and take this forward. Release your right thigh bone to the back of your hip socket. Ooh. And if you wanted to stay down here, you can. If you want to play with a little bit of back bending variations, also knowing that you might choose to grab a strap to do it and start coming up. If you're in swan, this isn't really going to work quite as well, so just kind of bear with it. Maybe you just do a little quad stretch on your own or stay going forward. But from pigeon, bend in the back leg. I'm going to take your heart up. You're going to be on the thigh muscle and not on your kneecaps. You might have to bend that leg a little bit. You might grab onto it. If your leg isn't going to bend and you just want to work on lifting up and flying, you can do that. You've got the leg. Might try to fold in, maybe elbow down, and the elbow in. There's also an elbow, I don't know if it's going to work today. The elbow could, nope. The elbow could go down and up and around like so. Let's see if I grab on my strap. Oof. Yeah, I need a strap today. Elbow up. Ooh. So lots of options. None of these is a good option. I mean, doing none of these, doing something else is also a good option. Ooh, words are weird. Soften. There's also like elbow. Lots of variations to pigeon that come in and they're very close to like dancer's pose, right? Okay. Ahead and bring your right leg back. Oh my goodness. There's a little brief respite in puppy dog when you're able to hinge at both of your hips, not your heart now. So your hips are right up above your knees. Oh goodness. Start to walk it in. So you can take your left leg forward, finding pigeon or swan. It's your modification, your alternative there. Hips are balanced, or you're all the way over on the one hip. It's not anywhere in between. You can come forward. This is my wonky knee, so try some of that back bendy stuff. I'm gonna want my lock under my hip. Just for some support. Some of that stuff, that back bendy stuff might look like, rest didn't do this. This is still lifting and opening the heart. Great option, really good for core work. You can reach back for the foot that wants to be grabbed. Make sure you're on the thigh muscle, not the kneecap. We've got this one where we get into the crook of the elbow. The other arm goes up and over. You're still lifting your heart up and forward. It's hard to get that back hip squared forward. That's your work. If you find it easy to get into the pose, then you got to work on getting the hip squared. You can also have that back there. Woo. Notice my heart's going forward and up. I'm trying to create a big expansive shape, not just folding myself in. Can I expand outwards? Oh, gently release it. Ready for that? And from any of those variations, we're going to come again into puppy dog. Right, thanks. All the things tight, but not. Ugh, weird class. Oh, head down, heart melting down, arms outwards. Big breath in. Big breath out. Start to walk your hands in. You're gonna come up onto your knees. Knees to be about hip width apart, or right underneath your hip bones. So you want them stacked straight out of the hip sockets. Notice I've got my toes curled under here. When you take your hands into your underbutt, good, it's yours, it's fine, grab it. Now lift it up and forward slightly. Now take your heart, lift it up and away from your upper butt. Take your hands to your upper butt so you have even more of that sensation. And if this feels like a lot, you reaching up and forward, this is where your camel is. This is where your work is. In order to come out of this, you're gonna lift your belly button back to where your hands are. So you have to do like a little sit-up to come back up, okay? You return to this, especially if you find that this next one's just not working out great in your back. What some of us might do here is hinge back in the hips to take the fingertips to the tips of the heels. Good. Then you're gonna lift up your underbutt, lift your heart up and away from your upper butt. Maybe your head goes back slightly. I want you to feel your heart lifting up. Exhale, soften your throat. Oh my goodness. Inhale, maybe the heart comes up higher. Woo. And then draw your belly in, hands to your hips. Come back up. Okay. Like now the pan is heated for the second batch of pancakes to go maybe a little bit better, sort of deeper than how pancakes can be deep. But let's try to come back here again. You're gonna lift underbutt, heart up, heart open, soften the throat. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Draw the belly in, hands to hips. Stack the spine, untuck the toes. Sit back and take a seat. Cool. We can be just here for a moment. I'm gonna go from here into cow face pose. So I wanna find some balancing of the spine again. We go into these deep heart opening places, and then we're trying to find center again. So the way I like to get into that is to come forward, take right ankle behind, or right knee behind left knee, open the feet, and sit back. What that's gonna look like here is like so. Not sitting on this heel. It's hard to not sit on the heel. You could take a block, anything at all you want, bring it underneath your hips. I'll tell you what, if you can get with your back up against the wall, it's really nice to have that cue to kind of lean back into. It's hard to get there from the way that I offered that to you, but what I like about that entrance is that it gets the knees a little bit more stacked. But if you're into it, there's the arms to cow face pose too. So whatever your bottom leg is, you're gonna take that arm, you're gonna bring it back behind your head. You can push your head into your arm to open the elbow. You can take the other hand, hold on to the elbow, or reach it up the back and fake grabbing your hand. You could grab a strap, or you could grab your fingertips. And I do want you to try to rest your head back into your forearm. Feeling your spine lengthen. Releasing the lower back. Got a lot of compression during a lot of these shapes, so we're trying to let it be expansive again. And a lot of really deep opening up into the front of the body. We're softening into the back of the body again. Take 2 more deep breaths. Gently release the bottom arm if you had it, the top arm if you had it, and then we're gonna come around again. You can unwind the legs first or come on up, release them around in the other direction, and then sitting back, not on that bottom heel. Both of my hips are down or both of my hips are up on a block, something of some sort, yeah? Okay, I'm gonna grab that. My knee is just weird there. Okay. So if you had to grab a thing, you grab a thing. Letting go of the ego and being kind to the body, because I mean, life is crazy enough. You're gonna take the top arm up, reach it behind your back. If that's something you're into, you don't have to take the arms to rest the head back in the forearm. You're gonna reach it up, you can hold on to it, you can hold hands with yourself, grab a strap in between your arms. Reach the elbows away from each other, soften the belly back to your spine, release the head back to your forearm. Two more breaths. Gently, if you have the bottom arm anywhere, release it, release the top arm. You're gonna unwind your legs. We're gonna take dolphin again. If dolphin does not work in your shoulders, take a down dog or take a puppy dog. Got lots of things to choose from. Start in dolphin. Always prep your headstand prep so that you have a good habit built there. Touch your elbows, then take the hands out, palms down, or interlace fingers. Let's push down in the forearms, come up dolphin. Ooh-wee. Release your head, strong from the armpits down into the elbows or down into the hands if you're in down dog. One more exhale. Then drop the knees down. Roll over onto our backs. So when you get onto your back, go ahead and bring your knees in, give yourself a little squeeze. Keep holding on to your right leg. You're gonna slide your left leg out. I know it's gonna seem like you're doing a lot of work in the right leg, but I actually want you to work on the left leg. So if it feels better and softer to hold behind your knee on the right leg, that's what you do. Try to get this left leg strong and straight. Feel the energy pressing out through the sole of the left foot as you soften the front of the right hip. One more breath in. Big breath out. Relaxing the leg, the left leg. You're going to take it in, hold on to it, slide that right leg out. So you can hold wherever you like, but sometimes it's a little bit softer in this leg that you're drawing in to hold behind the knee. And you're going to extend strong through the right leg. Once you get the action out strong through the right leg, can you try not to have strong action in the fronts of your shoulders and your jaw muscles? I noticed that creeping in for me, so it's probably not a totally unique experience. Or maybe it is, I don't know, maybe your hearts and shoulders just perfectly open now. It's just me. Yeah. Strong in the right leg, soft in the eyebrows. Long through the right foot, soft at the left hip. Breathing in. Breathing out. Tuck your right leg in. You're going to cross your ankles, reach outside of your legs to hold onto your feet. Maybe rock around a little bit. And switch the cross of your ankles. Reaching around for your feet or your shins or whatever you're reasonably able to grab towards. One more exhale. Release your feet, happy baby. Open those knees out wide. Reach up and grab for your feet or your ankles. breath in. Big breath out. Release your feet, set them down a little bit wider than your hips, reach your arms back. You can hold elbows if you like that, or just leave the arms flopped more open. Flex the feet, drop them over towards the right side. If you want to put your right ankle on your left knee, if you've got space and strength and knee health for that, go for it. Reaching the left knee away, softening the belly button inwards. Releasing the inner shoulders. Big breath in. Big breath out. Release the right foot if it was crossed. You're going to take the knees back up. Drop them over towards the left. Keep the feet flexed. You might put the left ankle on the right knee. You might elect not to. Soften those inner shoulders. Soften the belly button back to the spine. Soften that right knee further away from the body, lengthening the front of the right thigh. Big breath in. Big breath out. Untuck the ankle, bring the legs back up to center. Open your arms out and let both of your knees go over towards the right and close your legs up so you have a little bit more drawn into the twist. Take an inhale. Exhale, soften your left shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, soften your throat and your left shoulder. And take the legs over to the other side. So a little bit more closed in the twist than it was before, but not your most closed in. Soften your right shoulder. Check in with the muscles around your jaw, your throat. Back to the center. Go ahead and slide your arms and legs out into kind of a wide X shape. And take your right ankle over onto your left ankle. Reach your right arm over towards your left arm. Hold onto that right arm and tug outwards with your left. You're in a banana shape. Releasing your right hip towards the floor, even if it's not touching, or even if it is touching, but you still have this dropping downwards. So it's about the feeling, not about necessarily what it looks like. One more exhale. And open up that kind of narrow X shape again. Ankle on knee, arm over by hand, pull it, reach it, drop it. Expand that side body, releasing into the floor, but finding length all the way through it. One more breath in. One more breath out. Unwind, come back out. Tuck your knees into your chest. Now you can do this with your legs crossed, or you can leave your legs just kind of stacked together. You might take your legs crossed and then go into a really deep twist over here. So this is deeper than we might usually do. If this is a lot, just unwind your legs. Okay? It's an option, cross the top leg over. This is, by the way, a lot, so if it is too much for you, so I don't need it. We already did enough insanity today. One more exhale. If you have the legs crossed, unwind them. So you can take it over to the other side, maybe you cross from the other way and you check it out slowly if that's the right choice for you. Ooh. One more exhale. Unwinding your legs, coming back to center, setting the feet down. Let the knees knock against each other. Bring your arms in closer by your sides. Snuggle the shoulders gently underneath your heart to let the collarbones be a little bit more open. On your exhale, allow your body to get heavier into the earth, your floor. Again, inhale. Exhale, soften and surrender. Once more, inhale. Exhale. As we move into the last several minutes of our practice, where we find softness and rest, you can change your position, take a seat, sit up in your couch, chair, or whatever, legs up against the wall. Maybe you extend the legs out in your shavasana. You have a little bit of time to test some of these things out, finding a situation that works okay for you. Practicing this surrender and knowing that you're moving into this softness and surrender with maybe a bit more courageous heart space than you had before. Rest well. starting to come back to your breath. And then let the exhale happen outwards through a nice soft mouth. Relaxing your throat, your mouth a little bit more every time you breathe out. Noticing what else changes with that softness. And when you're ready, start to roll yourself over to one side. Taking this moment of gratitude for making it onto your mat today, for making it into the airwaves together. And coming up to find your own version of a comfortable seat. Hands together at your wide open, lifted, courageous heart. Seal practice with an Om together. Big breath in. Om. Bowing down to the love inside of each of us, the light and the darkness within us all. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, so this is not my favorite way of doing the dance, of course, but the flip-flop toes strap between, yeah.
It's now your favorite way?
Yeah. Because it's so much, with the arms, it was always like, I had the feeling something was blocking me or something, and this way, it's just so much easier for me, at least.
Okay. Yeah, you can like always use that too. Like it's not, it doesn't have to be when I say so.
Yeah.
Grab it.
Okay.
Cool. Yay. Thanks, everybody. Let me know if you have thoughts about things. Thanks, Kat. Thanks, Katie. And yeah, take care.
Bye.